Prix. Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Pokey's Corner, voice of hardcore boxing. But then again, you know that. That's why you've tuned in. Today is my last day before I get on that aeroplane. PCR test and all this admin stuff permitting. So this is it. But you've got 8 videos coming out from 1st of October, one after each other every day. There's going to be a moderator monitoring the live chat. So anybody who wants to be leery, you'll be putting a time out to cool off. Today I'm joined by my good friend and founder of Pokey's Corner with my good self, Rico from London. How's my good friend?
Haven't had any nightmares. Haven't had any nightmares at all, but I'm good, thank you. And I'm back from Bosman transfer, so good to be back here.
You got a Bosman to Ultratech, didn't you?
You know me. I'll speak to anyone, but Ultra's always been in support of this channel and vice versa. So we help out each other, don't we?
Yeah. Listen, everybody needs to go and subscribe to Ultratech Sports YouTube and Bayloric TV YouTube. Jones. Go subscribe to them channels. Go and subscribe to the Beautiful Boxing Podcast or Beyond Boxing, Terry Chappendama and Boxing Asylum. All right, and subscribe to Rico's Twitter at Leeds_right. Can I just say I've had a stressful day. Look at that, got the old Stella. Leeds today, helmets. Then we did something a bit special next to Ellen Road. So 2 production videos. Are the helmets money? So helmets money is coming in now, isn't it? Oh, not helmets, what do you call it? The members money. But we did nail the helmets. I nailed the helmets that quick today. There were a bit of time left, so we went out and did some filming in Leeds. So that's good. So we've got 2 videos today done. So and like I said, there's 8 videos coming out. So you're all going to be looked after over next week while I'm having reconstructive surgery on this big boat race of mine. Rico, we're obviously the big news is the Joshua one, but it's nearly a week now and it's sort of like dying a death now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I think overkilled it.
Yeah, you and Terry covered a lot of it, and it's been covered to death. So there's no point in talking about the fight and the tactics and all that stuff. The thing that I really want to talk about is IFL and others, how they profiteering off this fight. Like the amount of people they're interviewing people like your good friend Peter McDonough and others
on IFL.
Yeah, but these people
don't. Peter McDonough can't stand IFL, so I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, but these people don't get on IFL unless Joshua loses, and they're bringing up everybody just to jump on the bandwagon to talk about what Joshua should do. It's sort of like ambulance chasing, isn't it? When Joshua loses, the same people on there last time after Ruiz fight saying that he should do this and that and this and that, and everybody's sort of jumping on the guy's grave. So no wonder he doesn't speak to the British boxing media. Because would you speak in his position?
Joshua's been silent, hasn't he, really?
Yeah, I think he tweeted something today. But aside from that, why would he even go on IFL to talk about the loss? Because all they're going to do is just dig these people up to slag you off and get every trainer in the country trying to render their services to Joshua, right?
To be honest, I've heard Don Charles has put his Senate mix.
Well, you know what, Don Charles is a good trainer, and he's obviously trained him eventually. So whatever he does with his training situation, that's up to him. But I just find it bad when everybody's jumping on him, because when Billy Joe Saunders loses, what are they? Are we having the same treatment?
No, there's not the same energy, are there?
Nope. And are videos getting taken down when Billy Joe Saunders loses and somebody says something about him?
There's no transparency, and let me tell you this: there's agendas driven all around, isn't there, by all of them. Nobody wanted to go against Billy Joe because he's with MTK and he's an hard man traveller and all that, so everybody was shitting the pants. But because it's Joshua, it's fair game, isn't he?
Exactly, and I think what this shows is the bigger picture, which is IFL being relatively independent from Matchroom, because I imagine when the Joshua fight happened against Ruiz, yeah, they had similar people, but they didn't have exactly the same energy, did they?
No, did they, mate? They were doing their own thing, weren't they? But this is how I look at it, right? I'm not a Joshua fan, as you know. He's been beat twice and he's took it on chin. So I give him respect. He's a limited fighter, but it's not his fault that he was gifted a gold medal. He were gifted it because people wanted to get their hands on him because he had a great story, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's been carefully matched. He's been wrapped in cotton wool. When you look at his CV, I don't want to keep going over this because I've gone over it till I'm blowing it face, and this is why I need a break from it. He's got 5 wins over world champions, former, current, and I don't think there's a future one in there, but former and current. Povetkin, an old man. Vladimir were an old man. Parker and Charlie Martin were paper champions, and Ruiz were there for him to beat. He lost, but he turned up a fat man in rematch, didn't he? So them 5 are not going to get him in the Hall of Fame, are they? No way. No. Not even in, according to people I've been talking to today, in the know. He's not even in their top 50 of heavyweights of all time. And they've not even got Tyson Fury in the top 30. And he's only got 3 wins over champions, hasn't he? Vladimir, Steve Cunningham, a cruiser, Vladimir, an old man, and Wilder, who I give him that credit for that win, Wilder. But so this is British boxing at the moment. They're the 2 leading lights. They couldn't hold the candle to Lennox Lewis and Riddick Bowe and Ali and Larry Holmes. Vladimir, 20 wins over world champions. So what's the next move? Are they just going to finally get it on, or are they going to stay apart and just keep bitching? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's why it's turned into a soap opera between those two. And, you know, Tyson Fury's been relatively calm about it, but John Fury's obviously given his views, as is everybody else around him, you know, all the US promoters and everything else.
John Fury.
I think at the end of the day, you know, Joshua fought against Usyk, who's a unified cruiserweight champion. I backed Joshua to actually win that fight because I thought Usyk was too small. I got it wrong, but he fought against a guy that's a good fighter and he lost. And isn't that what we want to see? And nobody in the media and none of these people that are now in IFL were backing Usyk to win the fight.
None of them.
Now they've all jumped up and said, oh, you know, Joshua needs to do this and that. Joshua's, you know, team isn't right. He needs somebody like Adam Booth, or, you know, he needs somebody like
Booth, the Dark Lord.
Exactly. So we have all these, you know, hypocrites coming out, giving their views. All that they want to do is just to use their platform now to show how smart they were after the event, because nobody dared to say that Joshua was going to lose before the fight.
Yeah. Nobody wanted to say anything, did they? Nobody wanted to upset anybody, did they? Nobody wanted to rock the boat. But where does Joshua go from here now? I mean, he's had a pretty humbling experience. I mean, don't forget, there's people are saying he's a blown up cruiserweight, but technically, not in this day and age, he ain't really, because he's had 3 years to get into that position, hasn't he? And he timed it well, didn't he, Usyk? He knew what, he was confident, wasn't he?
Yeah, I also said before the fight, one of the things I think went against Usyk, at least in my mind, was he had those 2 injuries. So he had the elbow and shoulder injuries, which meant they couldn't fight against Takam, and then they postponed the Chisora fight. He's also 34 years old. So I just thought, you know what, he's had over 300 amateur fights. He's going to come to the end of his road. And this is perfect matchmaking by Team Joshua and Matchroom. But actually, Usyk was a lot better than we thought he was, because I thought in the Chisora fight, although he won comprehensively, he got hit a lot. In the Braders fight, he got hit a lot. Even in, you know, the Witherspoon fight, he didn't look great. So actually, Usyk clearly left something in the tank and turned up on the night and put on a performance in the biggest fight of his career. So I think Usyk is a modern heavyweight, because if he fought against Wilder, he'd look a bit smaller, but he wouldn't be size-wise and weight-wise, he wouldn't be smaller, much smaller at all. So I don't think we've had the era of the giants for ages, and we forgot that actually a lot of the good heavyweights, whether that be Ali or Fraser or others, you know, they were smaller men than the giants that we have today.
Yeah, I had a bit of a chat with Max. He's been to the factory today. Max, who's training with Chris in Smedley.
Mm-hmm.
rematch with that Traveller kid. They're gonna have a rematch. It's only white collar, but he's putting effort in. Me and Max had a chat today at factory, and it's like I said to Max, Robert Camarelli, the Southpaw Italian, gave Joshua nightmares every time they fought. And I always knew Joshua had problems with Southpaws. Yeah, he didn't have a problem with Charlie Martin, and everybody were getting carried away with that performance that he put him away, but he was pretty limited. And Joshua was a hunter then, wasn't he, back in them days? So he had a good hiding off Ruiz and Vladimir. He'd been a bit gun shy, hadn't he? I think it started with Vladimir. Chinks started to appear, didn't they?
It did, yeah.
So
it definitely did. But he went.
Sorry, go on.
But he went up the levels, didn't he, as well, against Vladimir, and even I'd say against Ruiz compared to Charlie Martin and lots of the other guys, Takam and these guys. He sort of went up the levels when he started fighting against those guys, and I think they just punched that much harder. And that's, I wouldn't call him chinny because Joshua went 12 rounds with Usyk and took a beating, but I think once he'd been dropped by Vladimir quite a few times, he effectively knew what that felt like, and maybe he became a bit more gun shy. But also he's tried to box a bit better. Like he knows he can't just walk over people like he used to.
I kind of have like I feel sorry for Joshua, but he's milked it for that long and he made everything about money, and he doesn't spend now. Everywhere he goes, he's VIP'd, and people are sending checks for him to go to Dubai and putting him in 7-star hotels with all his Klingons, all them sponsors he's got with him.
AKA Skins.
AKA Skins, come and see me, you prick. But bottom line is this, Joshua, he's milked it that long, and coming out to that, what he came out to with them fireworks and all that, it were like, oh my God, what's this? It were getting like wrestling, wasn't it? And then Usyk were just waiting in ring for him and just set about him. And Joshua way out in his depth. And I think he knew he were in for a tough fight. Because don't forget, he had step aside, for the first year, Usyk. And don't forget, he were put into position by other people, the ranking. And saying, look, if you want to fight Tyson Fury for all this money, you better get Usyk dealt with because we want all the belts. They knew he had to fight him. And he didn't want to fight him. You remember me saying when I first started the channel, the fighters that Robert McCracken didn't want for Joshua, Wilder, after Wilder did Audley. And Joshua was sat there that night, and he'd not turned pro then. Wilder, they didn't want him. They didn't want Luis Ortiz. They didn't want Usyk. And who what other one? Tyson Fury. Eddie's signed 2 of them. He signed Usyk and Ortiz. And Tyson Fury and Wilder, he tried to sign, didn't he? And he would have kept them away from Joshua. Now, look what he did with Ortiz. Why didn't Eddie Hearn upgrade Ortiz from interim champion to regular? Because the belt were there to do it. He didn't, did he? He parked him up.
No.
Usyk, he parked him up for nearly 3 years, didn't he, Usyk? He gave him nothing, did he? Let him live on scraps. But Usyk knew his time had come. But he did nothing for Usyk. They thought, we'll let him be inactive and let Joshua be active. I think it's all blown up in the face. And they're very easy to predict, I've heard from somebody today, somebody high up in boxing. They're very easy to predict because they always want a pound note, don't they? They love a pound note, don't they? And that's why they've fallen into this bit of a mess they're in now, because they've got to fight Usyk now. Yeah, they're going to get paid for that. But you ain't got a cat in hell's chance of beating him again. No, a cat in hell's chance. Unless there's some skullduggery. Now, we saw skullduggery on the night on this, didn't we?
Yeah, 6 seconds before the bell.
I've heard 8, 7, 6, but was it true Eddie Hearn jumped up and he was screaming ring the belt at timekeeper or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, you know what? It was a really funny one because I watched the video. I think it was IFL, and your mate Spencer Fearon was on there.
Good old Spencer.
And
Team Spencer.
He was on the rings. He was sitting ringside, and he said that I think it was Rob McCracken turned to Spence Oliver and these other guys and asked, what did he think? Did he think we have it? And they said, yeah. And I think Eddie and everybody else thought they had it. And I mentioned before on this channel that I actually was at the events. So I was at the stadium and watching it from the stadium and just people's reactions. you could have thought they was quite a close fight. And then I watched it back on TV, and it definitely wasn't a close fight. So I think they probably all got.
Who said it were close? Spencer Fearon.
No, Spencer Fearon said that when they were watching it, he was sitting ringside, and Rob McCracken turned and asked, "Do you think we have it?" after the fight finished, and some of the people ringside said, "Yeah, we think you have it." And what I'm saying is, I was at the stadium. Obviously, I was at the cheap seats, and I watched it. But I watched it quite a lot through the screen. And when the fight ended, I was like, I don't know how they're going to score this. It's a hard fight to score in the stadium. But when I watched it back on TV, it was clear that Usyk won the fight clearly.
Comfortably.
So I think one of it is as well, the sort of subliminally, when you're watching a fight and you know they're going to score it to the home fighter, you sort of overgrade what the away fighter has to do. But it was pretty clear that Usyk won that fight. But I don't think they were sure in the corner what would have, or Rob McCracken wasn't sure, and Eddie weren't sure after the fight how the judges would give it. And I think credit to the judges, apart from, was it Ian John Lewis? But, you know, the Ukrainian and the American judge both scored the fight fairly and gave it clearly to Usyk.
Well, did Ian John Lewis give it Usyk?
No, I think he did give it to Usyk, but he gave 2 of the first 4 rounds to Joshua, which was just wrong, right?
Ian John Lewis is always there. So Eddie got his big guns out, Ian John Lewis and Howard Foster. So Usyk were really up against it, wasn't he?
Yeah, the only saving grace was probably that they had a Ukrainian and an American judge. So they scored the fight fairly.
So how many judges were there? Because I thought it were Howard Foster. Can't have been 4.
Sorry, you mean referees? Howard Foster was the referee. There was Ian John Lewis as a judge.
Oh, I thought Howard Foster was judge.
No. There's no. I think it was Howard Foster was the referee.
Howard Foster was judge. Come here.
Well, maybe it was. How did I guess it? But yeah, there was a British
Howard Foster
referee.
was judge 115, 113.
Okay, then Ian John Lewis must have been the referee.
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember.
But anyways, they had an American judge and a Ukrainian judge who scored it fairly. But if there were 3 British judges, I wouldn't be surprised if they would have scored a draw.
You think you might want to check out referee, Rico? Because I will get slaughtered if you've got it wrong.
Okay, let me check.
Rico, I don't get this from Kent, you know.
No, I mean, Kent knows the stuff by heart. You ask him a 90s, 80s fight and ask him with the referee and judge, and he'll tell you.
Kent were working his son up into a stupor when result came out. Evening, Kent. Evening, Richard in Rotherham. How you doing, mate? Good, mate. I'll see you when I get back. If I forget.
Richard, you'll get there. You'll get there, mate. Oh, let me just get this up.
You're looking very dapper, Rico, with that shirt on and that jumper.
I was working today, see.
Jess or yourself?
Paid work. It was Michael Alexander I think it's Michael Alexander was the ref, and judges were so Howard Foster was a judge. Just a moment. And I know it's an American and Ukrainian judge as well. So Viktor Ferachenko and Steve Weisfeld were the 2 others. So we had Howard Foster, Viktor Ferachenko, who's a Ukrainian judge, and then Steve Weisfeld, who's the American judge, who's quite a good judge.
Ian John Lewis must have been timekeeper then.
Probably was. Let's see. Referee Michael Alexander, supervisor your mate Charlie Giles. Yeah.
Charlie Giles, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I just thought, for me, the IFL, just back to the main point, which is how IFL have covered this. They are surprised that Joshua doesn't want to be interviewed by them. Are they joking? Come on.
Well, I've heard they haven't got no time for him.
Well, that probably does more views for them than anybody else. So why wouldn't they have time for him?
Yeah, but the point is, was there the same energy from them to get Billy Joe Saunders interviews and talking about his loss, because they went totally silent about it, didn't they? They never get it any airtime, did they?
No, they hardly didn't. So let's see who's recently been interviewed about it. They've got Nathan Gorman, Adam Smith.
Adam Smith did a 40-minute on IFL, didn't he?
Brian Rhodes, Connor Ben. They've had Joseph Parker, Bob Arum, Joe Joyce, Matthew Macklin, Darren Barker, obviously Eddie Hearn, Carlos Sauerland, Peter McDonough, Frank Warren, Alex Arthur, Dan Raphael, Peter Fury, Sam Jones, Johnny Nelson, Josh Taylor, David Hay, Jamie Moore, Richard Riakpo, Spencer Fearon, Matt Christie, Jeff Powell, Billy Nelson.
The usual suspects.
And the list goes on. I mean, everybody's been interviewed.
So all these people, where were all they when Billy Joe Saunders got beat?
I'm not sure.
We're nowhere, mate, because I checked.
Were any of them coming out and saying that Ben Davidson was a disgrace in the corner?
No, because they've all... John Fury said that, hasn't he? Because they're all linked to MTK and nobody wants to say boo, do they? Because they're all company men. They're not going to bite the hand that feeds them, either. But and Anthony Joshua has got a long memory, from what I've heard of people. He'll have a long memory. Look at it like this, right? That's the first pay-per-view Carl Frotcher's not done on Sky in 7 years.
Yeah.
We know why that is, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
So Joshua's got a long memory, hasn't he? Right? But let's see the same energy if Fury loses.
Well, remember, MTK platform pushing an MTK agenda.
Yeah. And
this is if Tyson Fury, remember, they are Team Tyson Fury, true and true, MTK, IFL. So people, don't be fooled if you think IFL is somehow impartial into what's going on in boxing and just reporting people's views. They'll be bringing up everybody. None of them have rang up or talked about Tyson Fury's UCAD suspension, have they?
No, but they did about Jarrell Miller.
Oh, yeah. They were ringing up everybody then as well, where everybody was saying, it's a disgrace.
Tony Bellew had plenty to say about Jarrell Miller, but anybody else, no, they don't. Because
Dillian White, silence.
No, silence, mate, silence.
Well, they were also happy to call out Oscar Valdez the other week when he fought after testing positive and saying how bad that was for the sport. But, yep, when it happens on British soil, everybody's quiet.
Everybody doesn't say anything. They've all got their own agendas. They're all as bad as each other. It's a cesspit. It's a cesspit of lies, and I'm going to bring it all down. Let me just show you this here, Rico. Let me see if I can find it. Let me show you this. This is IFL TV. We say what we want. That's one of the IFL lot with his sweater on back. They say what Eddie Hearn tells them to say.
Well, they don't say anything. They just ask the questions. They don't even give their own opinions on camera, do they?
Well, every now and then you'll get them give odd opinion, but they prefer to have splinters in their arsehole, don't they?
Yeah, when they celebrate, they're so impartial that they're celebrating and super happy when British fighters win.
Wasn't there a bit of intense beef this morning between Terry Dooley and one of Andy McCart?
Yes.
They've
started. Yeah, IFL have started doing like these little illustrations in the corner of the interview. So Terry Dooley was like, "What is this?"
I know, yeah. And I've got a little tiny little square, small as a 5pp porky emblem in bottom right-hand corner. I think they had an IFL thing at bottom of theirs thing. Wasn't that good enough?
I'm not sure, man.
They're promoting themselves.
Maybe,
is that what
maybe they copied you, Porky. That's you the trendsetter in boxing. Maybe they copied you, mate.
Listen, mate, I tell you what, they do my job for me. They give me content every day. They don't know they're doing it. Wait while you see helmets of the month, kids.
All right. Well, I think on that note, just want to come on here and say that and wish you the best of luck on your travels. I'm sure we'll be speaking soon. But boxing fans, make sure you like and subscribe. Keep supporting Porky. And he'll be putting on that content even when he's at Cosmetic Beach. And who knows what comes out of Cosmetic Beach?
I don't know, but I've been told that Italia, where I'm going, it's pretty all right. You know, pretty a bit like Marbella. Have you been?
No, I've never been. Never been to Turkey. It should be good. It should be a good laugh. You'll get a bit of a tan. New teeth and a tan. You'll be fitting into Tawi quite well, won't you?
I could get an Intercity 125 through bottom of them. I hope that I mean it's a 5-hour flight, but I just hope that again. I don't have much faith in airports because obviously, you know, I've had some problems with customs before.
Yes, with Dennis's wedding.
I went and the other time I took Dennis's Q7 over to
Isle of Man.
It's the furnace, not Isle of Man, Jersey.
Isle of Wight, Jersey, yeah.
Trouble on Island. I got there and stripped me off, and then stripped car. I thought, what's going on here? I had some of that on me as well. I was like, oh my god! Thought it's on top, but yeah. So I'm not keen on them customs. I just don't have faith in people of authority, you know, like that.
Nah.
And you know, at airports, you're only going to say one word and you escorted away.
Oh, they all on a power trip. That's the problem. I always find it challenging because you just have to be so careful, and it depends what side of the bed they get out.
Yeah, Rico, before you go and have your tea, can we just talk about Campbell Hatton's decision? I mean, nobody's mentioning that, are they? But
no, nobody's mentioning that. Of course they aren't. I mean, he lost the fight. He shouldn't be fighting on that platform. He just shouldn't be. I don't care whether he's Ricky Hatton's son. You don't pay 25 quid to watch that, or even more money for tickets. You're paying for a good boxing event and you're paying for well match fights. And the one thing you should be paying for is fair judging, right? That's like the minimum standard. Even if you put on bad fights, but the judging's fair, that's all we should have. But Campbell Hatton, I just don't want to see him. I mean, why are we paying people to learn on their job? You know, when you're an intern or, you know, at the factory when somebody new comes in, it's not like we're watching to pay, you know, we're not watching them doing their job and paying for the privilege to do that. Yeah,
I see what you mean. And what do you think to the show as a whole? Obviously, Callum Smith won in exciting style, but poorly matched. The Coley one in there with a killer. Worry. You think it was done on the cheap, the show, to get Joshua to line his pockets?
Well, yeah, but I mean, we should also remember that certain fighters are on Sky and certain fighters are on DAZN. So you have 258 guys. Obviously, Nicole there. I think Campbell Hatton is 258 as well. So they won the undercard. So I don't think Joshua necessarily had the pick of the bunch, right? Because there was a bit of a power shift or power struggle but the whole week. And it was quite evident sort of Sky going their own way and they're not too reliant on Eddie. And I think that upsets Eddie. So Eddie doesn't want to give his best guys on Sky pay-per-view because he needs to put on shows for DAZN.
Yeah. And there's like a structure, the structure's like divided now, isn't it? Do you think there might be a bit of raw beef there between Bean and Hills?
Yeah, I think it's more Eddie's side. I think Eddie thought that Sky are just going to be on their knees and begging him back. But good on Sky for coming back and signing some good fighters and, you know, trying to do their own thing.
Face, isn't it? And Bean on his interview said, and I'll be doing the darts. And if Eddie wants to come to darts, and he can, I mean, fucking hell, it's his business, isn't it? His dad's in charge of it all. We're all a bit. I don't see Bean lasting long at the darts, but my opinion is this: I think Eddie's wanted to still be friends with Sky and thought that he'd always have a foot in the door with him because that's why he's kept Bean on the darts and all that. But I think deep down they're like, no, there's no room at the inn for you. If the zone don't work out, you're on your own. So I think there's more to come from this. More content for me.
I think I'm more on Sky's side on this. If Eddie wants to take his business and leave, so why should Sky be pining over him, right? And if they keep Joshua, what does Eddie bring to the table at DAZN? Not much.
If he keeps Joshua, Eamon will go hell for leather to keep Canelo. And then it's out it cold, isn't it? Old Toupee.
You might have seen a video that Oscar put out the other day. Do you see?
Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. Go on, tell me.
I'll send it to you. But he's on more than the source, put it this way, in that video. But he's mocking Eddie Hearn, and he said something interesting in that video where he goes that effectively this is why DAZN kept me as a US promoter, and they didn't want you in the US. Just keep promoting our shows. And so I don't know whether the Matchroom US stuff is basically just collapsing, and they just said we'll kill them boy on in the US.
Well, they've been froze out, haven't they, over there now, haven't they? Because he's rubbed everybody up the wrong way, hasn't he?
You can't just come in. You can't just come in there with kind of that energy and start calling people out, and then expect everybody to open doors. You see, remember when he thought he could make offers to Broner and everybody else, and they come over? They just laughed at him.
My argument with all that over there is, he went over there and he thought he could bully people, right? And they said, well, who are you? You can't come over here doing this. And they stood the ground. And I think that's good what they've done over there, mate. Honestly, they've put him in his place, because let's have it right. He's had everything all his way since he was born, hasn't he? Do you remember when Carl Frampton left him? He was distraught, wasn't he? First person to kick his face, wasn't he? He'll never get over that, you know, because he were building that. He thought this is easy. When Carl Frampton left him, that was the first time I never had an email off him when he felt, and we had a bit of back and forth, and I thought, oh God, poor Eddie. He was vulnerable. That's the first sign of vulnerability. I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
And obviously since then on, he's gone from strength to strength. But what I want to say is this. Carl Froch put Eddie where he is now. He put him there where he is now. Not Darren Barker, Carl Froch. Not Tony Bellew, Carl Froch. And he's out in cold for DAZN after everything they said. So I think that's a bit out of order. But Carl Froch is not an arse licker, is he?
No. He's
not like Barker and Bellew, because they're arse lickers, mate. But you know, all them interviews, just before we go, you know, all them interviews that you said's been done in the last few days on IFL and that. Have you seen one by Dave Caldwell? Because I haven't.
No, Dave's gone missing.
Dave Caldwell, APB out for you, a missing persons broadcast. If anybody sees Dave Caldwell, let me know. He's only little. He'll fit on a key ring. But if you see him, give me a ring, because nobody knows where he is. So we're worried. And on that
bombshell. Right. All right, mate. Safe travels.
Yeah.
You too, mate. Speak to you soon. Bye.
All the best to the family, mate. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Well, that was Rico, my very good friend. What a lovely kid, Rico. He's been here, stayed here. Lovely kid. He loves Mexborough. He loves going in corner pocket at Mexborough with me. He never played snooker in his life till he met me. I don't think they have snooker tables in Finland, but yeah, lovely kid Rico. And this video, I'll get this out. This will probably go out Monday. I don't know. I'm going to stagger them. There's one coming from Chris Medley's gym. Weapon at Wheat, helmets. There's one I did outside Ellen Road. That's with a production company, that. And helmets was with a production company. There's a part 1 and part 2 in Kent. Part 1, part 2. A Mickey Fio one, and there's a Mickey Fio and Max one. So you've got 8 videos: Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm back Monday, Saturday, Sunday. Ooh, so you might have 2 days, we know, but then you'll be gagging for Monday one, won't you? So, okie dokie. I might pull the Spencer Fearon one off the members area and treat you. because there's 71 on the members area over the last 7 months, and there should be 7 really. So I might pull that one off and give you a proper treat. I'm going to think about that. That might be next week, and then you might just have to miss probably next Saturday. Who knows, I might do one tomorrow, but I'm going to have a think about that. But then you've got some every day while I'm away, haven't you? From October 1st. Okie dokie. All right. I think that's about it, really. Quinn Ahmed's fight's cancelled. October 9th, he's our fighter that we're backing. It's his first amateur fight. The kid with the shorts and the gown. He can't get a fight. He's smashing people in gym, and he's sparred a 9-0 kid called Billy Pickles from Leeds. And since he sparred Billy Pickles, and I'm not going to say what happened in the spar, people are pulling out and they don't want to fight him. So we might have signed a good one. And Chris Smedley has got a girl called Danielle. I think she's 24, 25. She's ready for going pro, and she's the real deal as well. So that gym's really thriving at the moment. So well done to Chris Smedley and Matt up there. They're flying. I think Nicky Smedley's doing sparring sessions and pad sessions up there as well. So it's nice to see that gym flourishing, and it's very busy as well. Big shout out to Bernie Price up there. He's a nice kid. Nice to speak to you, Bernie. I'm looking forward to having you on your channel when I come back and talking about your boxing experiences, and your son's welcome on the channel as well. Bernie's son is, I forgot what he said's wrong with him, but he goes gym all the time. He's only a young little small kid. And if he can go training with his illness, any kids can. That's King's Boxing at Sheffield, Retford Road, Woodhouse, Sheffield S13. All right. And that is all she wrote. I am absolutely shattered. I'm going to enjoy this can. I'm just going to have one, because I'm not really bothered about drinking two. I can never get a second one down me. So I need my band loosening, but 12 stone 8.5, so I ain't got long to go now, another £1.5. Carl Frop, do you know you're watching? We're sparring, aren't we, when I get to 12 stone, if you remember our little chat that we had 10 years ago. When I was 28 stone, he must have thought, you'll never get to that. Well, I'm there, kid, so be ready. I'm coming for you, Cobra. All right? Everybody have a great weekend and a great week. I don't know if I'm going to put another video out. I might do, I don't know, but I like to give one every day. A video, that is. So we're going to see, but if not, whatever. But be nice to my moderator. He's a nice guy who's going to be doing live chat from now on, because I think I'm probably going to leave doing any more videos. I think I'll pull Fear and one out, give you that. But, so be nice to him. Okay? So you've probably got 9 videos then. All right? So peace out. I think that's about it, really. Not really much else to say. Frank, I'll see you Sunday before I fly. Hope you're well. Give Dave my best in Berry. All right. And big shout out to Craig for the grenade drinks from your gym. Thank you very much. Becoming a bit of a fucking ponce lately, aren't I, for these free drinks? I'm getting like AKA skins. All right. Have a great time. Next time you see me, I'll probably still look like this because I'll be arrested on plane no my look. But if not, I might have something a bit better than this wood in my mouth. All right. Peace out. Oh, big shout out, Terry. Kent, I might have you on tomorrow. Kent, I need you on this week, Kent. I might have Kent on. But if not, and I don't have time, peace out.